Jayden Daniels. How impressive has his start been so far?
Hey, the dude, the GOAT. Hey, he nice. He like that. That boy Jayden Daniels, man, he like that. Man, I'm just happy I'm on the team with him.
Joining us today on NFL Spotlight, he was a former undrafted free agent, started as more of a special teamer, worked his way up to a full-time starter, is now in his 7th NFL season, his first with the Washington Commanders. It is Frankie Luvu. Frankie, thank you for doing this. How's everything going?
Man, it's going good, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm just blessed for the opportunity.
No, for sure. Your journey is such a cool one, and I'll get into all of it here in a second. But before I get into all of that, I got to start with this. I mean, you're with Washington. It's your first season there. You guys are on a nice little winning streak right now. What's it been like for you so far to be in this bit of a winning environment? You were with the Jets. There was more losses there. The Panthers. There was more losses there.
Right.
How fun has this been for you so far to start this year?
Man, I think it's the most fun I've ever been on my 7 years in the league. To been on this other side of the table on the winning column, man, you know, it, it goes back to a lot of the hard work you put in and knowing what you put in throughout the whole week. So, you know, coming from New York Jersey, coming from Carolina, man, it was always a roller coaster ride, more losses than wins. So for me to be on this side of the column, man, I'm just blessed and, man, hoping to stay on this and have this ball rolling.
Well, I'll tell you this much. It's been one of the best stories in football so far this year to see the offense, to see the defense, the way you're playing with your head coach, Dan Quinn, your defensive
Yeah.
coordinator, you yourself, everybody. Everyone is talking about it right now in football. It is so exciting there right now. So let's first just talk about the journey because it's such a cool one. And I'll start with this. You are one of just about 40 players to ever play in an NFL game from American Samoa. I mean, what has your football journey been like? When did you know you want to play football? Like, how did this all start for you where you're now an NFL linebacker?
Man, I could start off, I think my 8th grade back in American Samoa. At Samoa Baptist Academy. My mom didn't want me to play. And I was like, man, all the boys was playing. So I was like, and I was playing soccer at the time. And I was like, man, I just wanted to try something else. So football um, was something that I fell in love with really early, going into high school. And that was like kind of my key off the island, kind of my ticket out of the island, man, to get a scholarship and to go play in the college and the university and make hopefully not make mom and dad don't work no more and taking up in my hands. So man, the process has been um overwhelming, but also a blessing throughout everything. I had role models that been helping me on throughout the way, and I had people that you know been in my life and helping me direct me to navigate me through my life. So man, I couldn't do it with all of them, and if you hear this, you definitely know who I'm talking about, and people that touched my life and know where I'm at today and played a part of that. But man, it's just been a man. I could write a book about it, man. Like undrafted and um, had Kevin Green. Like a lot, I talk a lot about Kevin Green a lot, man, because he gave me the opportunity coming out of Washington State University to go to the New York Jets and undrafted. So hopefully I ain't getting too ahead of myself right now, but yeah, man, it's been a roller coaster, but man, I wouldn't want to change it any other way.
You jump around a little bit over here because you end up going, to Washington State for 4 years. You go undrafted. You sign with the Jets. You mentioned Kevin Green, the late great Kevin Green. He was your coach there with the Jets. Like, how important was he for you? What did he do for you? What did he tell you? Because as an undrafted kid, for a legend like that to come up and talk to you and tell you all these little tips, it was probably a big deal for you.
Man, excuse me. I think he was the one of the best coaches that ever coached me throughout my career and throughout my whole life, off the field and on the field. Man, he showed me something to the game that I never at an early stage coming in. Man, I just I was thankful for him to be hard on me and harp on the little things that separate being good to great. And I found out really early in my career um, the techniques and the fundamentals and the habits and how you about taking care of your body and how you about watching your film. These are all the things that made him a gold jacket, and now he's passing these knowledge down and free game pretty much to myself. And man, I took that early, and I mean I grabbed it and I ran with it, man. And I think that's a lot of where how I play and how where passion comes in for me when it comes to football. Um, he was a very hands-on coach. It was never a day you go out there on the field and knowing that it was going to be an easy day with Kevin Green. Putting your face in somebody, 300 pounds, it don't matter, but winning with the right leverage and the technique and fundamentals, it don't matter how big they are. And he always say, man, there ain't no excuse for whooping a grown man's, you know what I mean? So it was. You have to get your mind right when you come out the price with Kevin Green. So, I mean, I would have changed Yonder anyway, and for him to instill that in me early in my year here at the Jets, and now taking those principles and bringing it here, the sky's the limit still for me.
I mean, it definitely means a lot to have a legend like that help you out as an undrafted guy. But being an undrafted guy in this league, it's not easy. I don't know if fans really truly understand it, and making it is even harder. I'm just curious, like
Right,
during your time with the Jets, was it like challenging as you tried to find your place, getting cut, brought back, moved to the practice squad, off the practice squad? Like,
right.
was that a difficult thing for you? Like, I can't imagine it was an easy thing to handle mentally.
Man, for all the undrafted players that know the story, man, it's not an easy process. I feel like you should start back from rock, like from square one. Coming from college, thinking like, oh man, you the dog, like in senior year, and you come in your first year and like, and you undrafted, so you gotta like, I feel like you gotta prove something again. And also, man, I can play in this league, and for undrafted guys, man, there's no shortcut around everything to success and where you want to be. And that's if you a first rounder and if you were undrafted. The mindsets don't change. And a lot of there's in this league, man, there's a lot of complacency you see in and out. And I think that's where I kind of take advantage of guys getting complacent. I'm like, man, I'm gonna take your spot, or you know, there's food on the, there's crumbs falling. Like that's food for me. Like you, and and so I kind of took that mindset, man. And undrafted, man, it's not an easy road. And I could sit here and like, that said it was easy, and no, but it's made me of who I am, and man, it's getting cut, coming back on the team and um, waiting that 24 hour, whatever, team on the waiver to pick you up. And now they bring you back on practice squad. And now, um, you know, you're trying to get the best look on scout team to hopefully get active that week. And when you do get active, you want to stay active on an active roster. And, those are the things, man, people don't see, but days in and out of the NFL. But it made me who I am, man. And so, for all undrafted guys, man, I don't think of any other way but an opportunity just to, be yourself and be the best and what got you there.
The NFL is such a cutthroat business. I think players realize that right away. And while you're like scratching and clawing and trying to stick with the Jets roster, how important was your family to you during that time? Because I've heard from a few people you're a very big family guy, and I'm sure they helped you in a big way during that period.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Polynesian culture, man, we're all about family, faith, and football. And that's something we grounded and rooted on. And so myself, I was, I'm the youngest out of eight, but Um, always having family around me and leaning towards them after a loss or a win. I mean, that's what's been pushing me through to make it through all these years. And they can get cutthroat in the league, but your family's your get back or something you can fall back onto. So, man, I'm always around family. In our culture, man, everything that we do is around family, and the people that do know me and people do. that come around, man. They just know, man, I'm a big family guy, and yeah, man, it's open arms, man. Come on.
I love it. It's so cool to hear. So, family is so important. It's still part of you. And during those times with the Jets, while you were in and out, eventually they obviously helped you a lot. But after your 3 years with the Jets, you end up in Carolina in 2021. And that's like a fresh start for you. And they want to use you. Like, what did that fresh start mean to you? New team, new organization, new everything.
Man, I felt like it couldn't happen any other perfect time. How everything wanted to, how everything ended up, I was like, man, this is the perfect setup for me. This is a new opportunity for me. Open doors, man. Like this is a new start for me. And um, my first year with Kevin Green, I loved it. My last 2 years with the Jets, man, I didn't find football that fun no more for me. We due to why everything was happening through the years, man. And just like football wasn't fun for me, so I'm like, man, I don't know if I wanted to play football again. And I talked to my agent, Blake, and he's like, man, just give some time. Let's go out here to Carolina and let's see, open doors, start fresh. So man, it couldn't happen any perfect time. So when I went to Carolina, man, they opened me with arms, like, and they wanted to see me, and they wanted to watch me play and to see the things that they see in me that New York did. You know what I mean? So for them to and Carolina will always have a special place in my heart, man. For them to open their arms and you know put me on the grass and let me do what I do, man. And put me in the best position, man. I wouldn't even, be a part of my story of where I'm at today. So, um, yeah, man, I was super excited. I was super excited for the new opportunity, man. Yeah, wouldn't change it.
I mean, your story about not wanting to play anymore resonates with so many guys in this league, especially guys who are picked in the late rounds or go undrafted and think they can't do it anymore. And to see you end up in Carolina and playing, and eventually you get this 2 year extension, and then all of a sudden everything pops. Like I think you had about 100 tackles in your first 4 years combined. These last 2 years of Carolina, you have 111 tackles one year, you had 125 last year. What changed for you? Was it just now I finally have the opportunity to be on the field? Everyone's realizing how talented I am. Like, what happened over those last 2 years there in Carolina?
Man, I just think when you have coaches and organizations that's invested in their players, and I mean, I just play. That's who I play for, and just knowing that you can play in this league and with the top dogs and compete with the highest level dogs, man. Like, I mean, ain't no better other platform to do it, but to do it on the National Football League. So, um, I just took that I had goals in my mind of every year. I write them down, and I look at it every morning. If I'm making them or if I ever coming close to that. So, and making a name for myself, man. I think that's the biggest thing, and also like putting on for my culture. I'm Samoan, half Fijian, man. Like you said, one of the 40th of American Samoa players to play. So, I mean, I do it for a lot of people, and also for the culture. So, you know, uh, that's why that's the shifting, and that's how I play.
And this is where every player in the league, I don't care who you ask, this is what they wait for when you're able to get your payday. What was this offseason like for you where you're coveted now? People want you and people are looking to pay you real money. What was that free agent process for you this past offseason?
Man, I mean, it was the first time knowing that a team wanted me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I always, oh, I have to go here, I have to go here. You know what I mean? But for a team that really like, man, I need this dude and I need him on my team. I'm like, damn, that's not. I ain't never had that feeling before. To be wanted, so because they always had to work for it. You know what I mean? And now a team like see that work. So, and it's just been a blessing, man. Like my whole process and my whole story of where I went and my milestones, man. Wouldn't change any timeline of what happened or when where it happened, and to be where I'm at right now, and to be in Washington, man. I'm just happy, bro. Like this is fun. Like football's fun again for me, and I want to play for a long time.
I love it. What was that day like when, your agent Blake calls you, hey, I got a 3-year deal. Dan Quinn wants you. Adam Peters wants you. They want you to be part of this new culture. We're
Right.
giving you a really good contract. What was that day like? Who'd you call? When did you tell your parents? Like, what was that like?
Man, yeah, Blake called me. He's like, "Hey, all right, we about to put the pen to paper." I said, "All right, let's do it." And I think I was in Arizona back at the time, training in the off season. Um, and man, I was trying to call my mom that day, but I think my mom was at church, and like, I got to call her on Facebook because, back home, like, ain't no like 5G or whatever. And she's very old school. So I had to call her on Facebook Messenger. And I'm calling her, and she's like, "Oh, she ain't picking up." So I call all my families. I'm like, "Hey, is mom there?" Like, and she's like, "Oh yeah, let me get a hold of her." So I called her and I told her about it. Man, she was like, just overwhelmed and just was crying and it was emotional, but just uh, it was a special moment. I think that was probably one of the highlights of my career. Um, and so yeah, man, I put the pen to paper and I was like, "Come on, let's do it." So yeah,
It's pretty cool, and what a blessing that is. And the
yeah,
family probably was so happy to hear all that. And now here
yeah.
you are in Washington with all these new people. You have new ownership, new GM, new head coach, new defensive coordinator, new players all around you. I got to ask you first. You get to play with another free agent who came in with you, and that's Bobby Wagner. And let me just tell you this, Frankie. I've had a bunch of linebackers on this show. Levante David's been on here. Bobby Okereke has been on here. Zaire Franklin's been on here. TJ Edwards has been on here. Every single one talks so highly about Bobby Wagner, the player, the person, everything. What's it been like so far to be his teammate and be right next to him on that field?
Man, dude is just man, dude's still doing it at a high level. Dude's still running. We have practice, we still running. And man, I ain't seen nobody take care of his body more than I see Bobby. The way he goes about doing his business, the way he take care of his body, the way he eats, the way he studies, the way he's man, that's like a, I ain't never been around somebody that really was about football and loved football so much and cared about if he cared about football, he cared about his body as much as he um it's hard in the books. He's hard on his body, and man, it's just how he just goes about his ways. And I'm learning myself, and as a sponge and trying to, you know, get as much knowledge as I can from him, man. Because dude's still doing it at a high level, man. So man, it's just been a blessing to be on the field with him, but also being at work, and just seeing him play at a high level and still doing it. Man, it's a testimony to us and especially myself. Sitting in the room with him. So, um, yeah.
Let me ask you this. There are so many young guys on this team. Of course, Bobby being there, I'm sure they look up to him as well. But guys are probably looking up to you as well now, right now. How does that feel for you? Where people, you're still young. I mean, you're still very early in your career, but people are looking up to you and want to learn from you. Like, how does that feel?
Man. I mean, there's always room for improvement. I tell the guys, and I mean, there's no. I tell them, man, for them to learn from me, and I just tell them that there's no shortcuts around it, man. You want to be where you want to be, and you just gotta. It's gonna take a lot of sacrifices, and so for them to look at me, it's not. I'm getting used to it, is what I can say. You know what I mean? Because I'm still young, so I can't say I'm Bobby and like, oh yeah, I got all the work, I got all the knowledge and no, but as much as I can help out with them. I'll help out the guys and share some free game or whatnot. But as far as them looking up to me, it still takes some time. But when they do like start asking me a question, I'm like, oh, like you really need okay. Let me help you out on this. So, um, nah, man, it's a process, but man, yeah, I mean, I love it. I love it when they be asking questions.
I mean, it's pretty cool to think about from where you started to a point now
Right,
where there's eventually going to be players who are reaching out to you and being like, yo,
right,
Frankie, what do I do over here? It's a crazy story to think about from where you started to where you are right now. I got to ask you about your head coach because there's not a single person in the world. I've covered this league for over 10 years now. Everyone has something good to say about Dan Quinn. It's pretty cool. Like everyone loves him. He's the architect of the Legion of Boom, fast, stingy, versatile. That literally sounds like you. What has it been like so far to work with Dan Quinn, who never worked with you before, but wanted you in his building?
Man, um, I wish I was playing for Dan Quinn my whole 7 years in the league. I mean, dude is just a solid coach, solid person, father, like man, mentor, and every category that you think a old like a G should be at. He always said that like be a G, man. That's DQ. Um, man, the moment he hopped on the phone with me and just started chatting, man, and coming, can't wait to get to Washington. And man, it was everything that everybody said, and you said it yourself. So whatever you see, like on the social media, man, that's the realest DQ you gonna see, man. Like, and in the locker room, man, dude is just like I don't know, like the dude is just amazing, man. Like
He's all
the
energy. The
scheme,
guy's full of
all
energy.
energy, high energy, dude. But it's real, like it's real energy. Like it's no like fake. Ain't nothing fake about it. It's like everything real and it's certified. Like it's legit. The dude is legit, man. And I mean, man, I wouldn't want to play, harder for anybody but coach, man. Like he invests in us, man, and for him to invest in us, man, and taking care of us, man, the least we could do, man, is to go out there and play for the guy, man, DQ. So I'm just happy to be a part of it, and like I said, I was playing for him all my 7 years in the league, but yeah,
That's
I
amazing. I'm
am
telling
now
you,
though, so I'm
you
happy
are
for
now.
that.
You are
Yeah.
now. You guys are in lockstep together. I'm telling you,
All right.
everybody loves Dan Quinn, the person, the coach, the energy he brings, the way he's close to his players. There's nobody else like him. You are very lucky to have him as your head coach. All right,
Yeah.
two more things before I finish. You played with a rookie quarterback last year, Bryce Young. He's still trying to figure it out. I'm sure he will. This season, you're back with another rookie quarterback. It's Jayden Daniels. I have to ask you this, like, given the challenges of what young quarterbacks usually face, how impressive has his start been so far? What you're watching right now out there?
Hey, the dude, the goat. Hey, he nice. He like that. That boy Jayden Daniels, man, he like that. Man, I- the moment he stepped in the building, man, I think he was doing OTAs and during the preseason. Dude was in the building at 4, maybe earlier, like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. was working out. And, me and Bobby will go in as well around like 6. Start. Bobby might get there a little earlier, but I probably stroll on around like 5, 6 around preseason. Sorry, spring. And Jalen was already in there. And Jalen will get his workout in. And before that, he'll get in. He just carried himself like a pro. Like, but you hardly see these as rookies to see themselves and come in early, like getting in the playbook, getting their workouts in, and he's like ahead of everybody. You know what I mean? So when I started seeing that and noticing that, I'm like, oh, dude is really invested in, and we just want to win. And then it ain't by mistake that you what you see is all fluke because he put the work in and he planted that seed early in the preseason. He put the work in us, and now looking at his fruition come to life. This is on the bright lights, and on the Monday Night Football, like that was probably the best throw I ever seen. I thought it was a movie. When the ball is floating up in the
Yeah.
air, like man, that ball was in the air forever. But man, Jay Daniels, like I'm just happy I'm on the team with him. I'm just so happy we got a quarterback that man is going through his reads. Like man, dude's sound. He's poised in the pocket. He's releasing the ball like man, dude's only a rookie. But if you didn't put a rookie status behind it, I'll probably say like he a vet. Like he been doing it the way he's playing right now, and I think that's just always been him. Through his whole life, always wanting to prove, and there's a lot of room for success. So. Man, I'm just happy I'm on the team with them. I don't gotta see that in like other teams they gotta see on our offense, man. But yeah,
Well, he's the early favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year. This team, by the way, they picked him at number two. They would have taken him at number one also if they were picking at number one. They love Jayden Daniels. What he's done so far has been so
Yeah.
fun to watch. This team is really impressive, and you're part of something really special right now. We had Jonathan Allen on here a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you know, Jonathan grew up a Washington fan. He was a fan of this team, and he's never, as a player, seen them play well. It's been driving him crazy. And
Right.
now for the first time, they're playing well, and he's having fun as well. And he's like, this reminds me of when Robert Griffin III was here when I was a fan. So what you guys are doing right now is very, very special, and the fans there are realizing it as well. And when Washington football is going well, that city flocks to games. So you guys are into something really, really cool right now. All right,
Yeah. Yeah.
last thing before I let you go over here. This is the NFL Spotlight Show. We put a spotlight on people in the league who deserve more recognition. Your story is really cool. You're perfect for the content of the show. But I want to ask you, player, coach, executive, is there somebody in the NFL who you think deserves to be in this seat in the future?
Um. Yes. I'll say is I got like two, a
Give me
coach
two. Give me
and
two.
I got a coach and a player. I do Coach Ken Norton. Um, and then I'll do um, I mean Bobby Wagner got to come up on here, man. He got to show up. So I go Bobby and Ken Norton.
All right, I really want to get Bobby on. We're gonna work on. I'll also work on Ken, but Bobby especially because this thing has become a little bit of a linebacker show all of a sudden. A lot of linebackers are coming on.
Yeah,
Everyone brings up Bobby Wagner, and I think just picking his brain a little bit would be great because
yeah,
his the amount of people, the amount of knowledge he knows, the way he takes care of his body, the way you mentioned, everyone talks about him so highly. It sounds like he probably knows more football than some people would ever know. So I do love the idea of getting Bobby on here, and I really really love that that pick by you. But Frankie, I really want to thank you for coming on. Your journey is really cool. It's really impressive. The general public really needs to hear more about you as a player, as a person, what you went through, how you got all the way here. It's awesome. Thanks for coming on, and continued success as a player and for the team.
man. Ari, I appreciate you having me on your show, man. It's a blessing, and being a voice to everybody else, and doing my career, and um, my life through football and what this game has brought to me. So, praying for all the success and everything that goes around in here. And yeah, God bless.
Special thanks to Washington Commanders linebacker Frankie Luvu for joining us here on the show this week. That is the type of player you root for. I mean, a guy who was undrafted. I mean, you heard him say it. He did not love football when he was with the Jets, being a back of the roster type of a guy on the team, off the team, on the practice squad, off the practice squad. It gets annoying. It gets frustrating. He said it. He did not love football back then, but he kept his head up, ended up in Carolina eventually, became a full-time starter, and eventually this offseason got a big payday by Washington, and he loves it there.